The only thing I am missing for our next conversation is a cup of coffee and a pastry in my hand, because Carol Menninger is here from Rockbridge Oaks. And if you've seen her on the show before, you know how calming her voice is, how much she loves what she does. But what I'm learning this morning is you instinctively know things, Carol. You love older people, and you just kind of instinctively know what they need.
Julie, you're so sweet. Well,
that's true.
It is a calling for me, for sure, and it is in my heart, but I'm also old, and I've done this work for 30 years, so I would say some of my intuition is natural and God-given, and some of what I do is a skill that I've honed, wanting to do the best I can, so thank you.
So you wanted today to not talk about the beauty of Rockbridge Oaks and the layout of the rooms and all of that. You want to talk about the heart of it, and y'all have independent living, but then you also have assisted and memory care. So the memory care, this is why I said the cup of coffee and a pastry. So she just has these things draped on her. You recognize what we all have learned, that when you deal with a dementia situation, the past is really important to comfort those people. Is that right?
It is. It's important, and it's powerful. And I've talked in the past about so much of what we do at Rockbridge Oaks is for a restorative outcome. But I thought if I brought some of these things, these treasures today, it would give us a chance to really just experience it together.
So here's the truth of the story of what happened. So first she came in with this dress. Look how darling that is. And all the girls in the room went, ooh. And then I went, ha, and tried to try it on, and it wouldn't even zip up.
Well.
This is an oldie but a goodie. But we began talking about, it reminds me of this. It reminds me of that.
Yes.
So what's your advice is, and what you do at Rockbridge Oaks is you will sometimes just have old things sitting out and let the conversation go. No guiding necessary.
None necessary at all. And sometimes, not only the ladies will enjoy this conversation, even the men, because the men remember when their wives, now wives, then girlfriends, wore these dresses, and they remember the crinolines and the underskirts, and they remember what it felt like to dance with them and how they couldn't smash them. And
you brought up a really good point, though, to me. You and I were talking, because I do this too often, so here I go again, but my point of contact is my mom.
Yes.
In her 90s, and so I'm seeing as we talk that things are more difficult for her to pull up. She'll say to me a lot on the phone, oh, I'm sorry, baby, I just can't remember. And I'll say, that's okay. That if you ask people as they age to create too many new memories, it can almost be a stressor for them.
It is a stressor, and our memories, our brains are just like our computer memory bank. They're not infinite, the space there, and the powerful, deep, older memories really do have more staying power than something recent. So I might sit with somebody and I might just sort of pull out this apron and just sort of start admiring and that'll just make a conversation happen. And somebody's conversation might say, oh, we didn't go anywhere without the hostess wearing an apron, or I would never have anyone over even for a cup of coffee without an apron on, and it just flows from there.
Or I used to sit with my great aunt and she taught me how to do that stitch. Whatever it might be.
Yes, or they'll talk about, oh, my mother was just telling me how they would dip their crinolines or in sugar water to make them extra starchy.
Okay, so I'm loving how as you and I talk, we are going, or they might do this, or they might do that. Once you go down, quote, memory lane, lots of memories flood to your brain.
Yes.
So you almost want to, it's like a dream where it doesn't always make sense why one memory is leading you to another one. Is that right?
Well, that's very right. That connectivity and those relationships of those memories and all of these specifics we're talking about are at the core of what we do at Rockbridge Oaks, particularly in memory care, but not only in memory care, because everyone deserves to find and re-find their value and their purpose and re-celebrate and be celebrated
Right.
about their lives.
Something that you're able to do at Rockbridge Oaks, and you see it quite often, is that you have apartments that are, for a couple to move into, and sometimes it'll be that one spouse is struggling, the other spouse is not, so they can be together.
Yes.
That's true for your memory care unit?
It is.
Also?
Yes, we actually have more than one couple, both of whom live in an apartment in memory care. And I was mentioning one day last week, I have a jar of S&H green stamps and books. And I know everyone's getting a visual of what my home must look like, but it's treasures, pure treasures. But we had them spread out over the table, and we were smoothing them and sorting them. And Dave, who's there with his wife, his daughter happened to be visiting, and she said, "Daddy, remember how you used to give us kids a book at Christmas time, and we would go to the S&H store and pick out Mom's Christmas present?" And all of these beautiful, rich memories came together. And the daughter said, as a matter of fact, when we moved our parents here and cleaned the house, I found the cheese board I bought for my mother in the 1970s.
Aww.
So, and again, that restorative, tapping into value, tapping into something that a person can talk about with such enthusiasm is so much more healthy than saying, "Well, Dad, remember last week?" or remember, because if they can't, that's devaluing to them.
I see. So what you intend to be a helpful question isn't received that way.
That's right.
So if you will pull out something from the past that maybe meant something to them, just sit quietly and see if they'll pick up on it. Is that the idea?
Yes, that's it. And participate and be enthused and be excited about. And I mean, if you might know your dad has stories about Buddy Schumer, and if you just say, "Dad, Buddy Schumer," and let it roll,
Right.
and that is so much more rich and fulfilling to everybody.
Right.
And this is something I'm beginning a Thursday morning support group at 10 o'clock every week at Rockbridge Oaks. These are the sorts of things we'll do and talk about together because, if you're caring for someone at home, particularly someone with some memory changes, it's so, you feel helpless.
Do you think that people, and we'll show you when that one is going to be, but do you think that people feel, well, first of all, should they call you to say that they're coming?
Please. Yes,
Okay.
please.
So 558-2000 is the phone number, and you can also learn more at rockbridgeoaks.com. Do you think that people are afraid if they don't encourage new memories, present day conversation, that they're going to make the memory loss worse?
Yes, of course. That's an understandable, natural response to watching someone whose memory is becoming more and more impaired. And I've done this since 1994, and I was so fortunate to work for a company called AZI that had Aricept, the first medication for Alzheimer's dementia. So my training and my exposure and my opportunity to work with all of these geniuses in this field have been such a gift. And I feel like today it's really come to fruition with my position at Rockbridge Oaks.
That's
such a
how
gift.
life works.
Yes.
That's how life works. All right, so you can go and meet her at Palms Court. It's in the East Brainerd area. 558-2000 is the central phone number there. And just every Thursday at 10 o'clock, she will be doing these. If you can't make it this next go around, that's all right, but do please call them, and that way they know to expect you.
I'll know how many cups of coffee to make.
That's right.
Yeah.
One for me, please.
You bet.